On Sunday morning, the students gathered in the entrance hall of Miss Minchin's Select Seminary. Girls, are you ready? Form up a line behind Lavinia. Hands off. Sarah, dear, it is our custom to walk to and from church every Sunday. Can't wait. When the weather permits. That allows the horses a day of rest and ensures that students receive regular exercise. Hang on, your idea of regular exercise is walking to and from a church. How far is this church? What, are we going cross country or is it 5 minutes away? And back then you all had very poor ideas of what exercise amounted to. It is important to look your best when we are walking around out among the public. We want our school to always leave a good impression. That's not my problem. Jesus, you're the one I pay you. You should follow Lavinia's cues. She will show you what to do. Lavinia is always a model student. Hey, way to make the rest of the class feel bad. As if hearing her name, Lavinia smiled and tilted her head. You could learn a great deal from Lavinia, dear, as her father is also posted to India. The two of you should have much in common. I'm sure you will make close friends. That's not how friends work. You don't become best friends with someone just because your father lives in the same place, you know? Woo! Anyone's dad lives in New Haven? We could be best friends! No, that's not how that works. Now, go stand in line behind her. We'll topple her off her throne and be the first in line one of these days. Sarah made her way to the front of the line, where Jessie and Lavinia stood close together. What are you doing? Go to the back. It only looks like she's mildly behind you. She's trying to see what's in front of you. Miss Minchin told me to stand behind you, said that you were a model. Oh, very well then. But that's my place. You wouldn't want to disobey Miss Minchin, would you? No. We have to show our new girl how to behave in church. She may never have seen one before. Why do I feel like this is some sort of weird hazing ritual? Sarah thought it wisest to remain silent. That was that apparently. That was just showing that Lavinia is better than us. Good. Right. So these are all random. I guess we could just work with this. Again, knowledge seems like something I'd want to have. I don't want faith, because that's what Lottie likes, and shudder. What do we get knowledge from? Just read a book, right? Okay, so we'll do that. What do we... and grace as well. So what's grace? I've already forgotten. Practice dance. So probably the one to the left or the one to the right? Yeah, sure, whatever. Go for a walk. Write in diary. We haven't gone for a tea party. I may as well... oh, icon help. Here we go. Grace is that one. So a little bit of that one and quite a lot of that one. Okay, cool. Let's go like that, I guess. Okay, so we got the same result twice. We're not getting a lot of grace, all things considered. Hang on a minute. Sympathy? We get sympathy by playing front. I hope that's... we get more sympathy and not others just pity us. A knock came at the door. Sarah? Sarah, dear? Oh, God. Yes, is that... oh, hello? I can't tell how old she is. I guess she's supposed to be a very young maid. Bonjour, mademoiselle. She's French? Okay, sure, why not? Miss Minchin hissed through her teeth and the young woman in the maid's uniform fell silent. Sarah, before he left, your father arranged for a maid to be employed especially for your needs. She has just arrived. I believe she is from France. Probably. You know what they're like. Us English, we don't like the French. We are to put her in the stocks and throw fruit at her. Yes. Her name is Mariette, and she will be living in your rooms, helping you with your clothing in the morning and anything else you require. Please use her as a liaison with the staff. If you have a need of food, send your maid rather than speaking to cook directly. What, he's called cook? And don't let her fool you. She does speak the Queen's tongue. The Queen's tongue. Ah, not English. She swept out of the room, leaving the maid and her new little mistress blinking at each other in confusion. Bonjour, Mariette. Je m'appelle Sarah. Comment allez-vous? I don't know what... comment allez-vous? What are you called? What do you say? How do you do? I don't know. I sort of lost her there. Très bien, merci, and I am pleased to see that you are just as your papa described. Okay, so we asked, how are you, I think. There you are, that's my grasp of French for you. Oh, what did he say? That no other little girl is as solemn as you, and that you would make me smile. Stop it. But why would being solemn make someone smile? Ah, it is je ne sais quoi. It is you. It is your I don't know what. So helpful. Now, why don't you show me around your rooms? I'm telling you, man, it's weird. Oh, we needed 3 belief as well? Okay, so what do we need? Okay, so we only need 3 belief. Cool. So we could go with her. We could go with her. It's set to focus on 1 or 2 characters, right? And I have no... I have no desire to get to know her better. I mean, you seem quite arrogant. What's the worst that could happen? Sarah knocks upon the door. It is Sarah Crew. May I come in? You may enter. Miss Minchin's model student was this day holding court in her rooms. Holding court? You mean speaking to people? I don't know what she means by holding court. What, has she got a boy to dress up and that and have like a gavel and shit? It was a rather small court, consisting, as it did, of only one loyal follower, Jessie Abbott, but Lavinia's posture suggested no doubts about her right to rule. So he's a follower. Hello, Lavinia, may I beg your pardon? Your pardon? That is not begging. Jessie tittered behind her hand. This is scaring me. I'm sorry, I don't understand. No, it is evident that there are a great many things you do not understand. That is only to be expected, seeing as you have been raised in the savage outlands. However, in England we observe manners. Sarah was perplexed. It was not her desire to be unmannerly, but she could not immediately perceive what breach she had committed. I haven't either, but, like, not kissing her feet. You are too forward, Miss Crew. I have not invited you to use my Christian name. We have already been introduced. Knowing one's name is not sufficient reason to use it. A friend would call me Lavinia. You and I are not yet such friends. I mean, the teacher called you Lavinia. Don't want to know why. The more I think about that, the less I want to know. Oh, Lavi. She is very young. Children use names freely. It was clear to Sarah that Jessie intended to demonstrate her own superior rank of friendship. Not merely Lavinia, but a pet name. Nothing gets past us. How funny that it should be called a pet name when it is Jessie who acts more as the pet to Lavinia. Oh, sick burn right there. Look, Sarah's just looking wide-eyed, like, so happy that she thought of such a savage burn. This is a school for young ladies, but if she is young enough to be excused, she ought to practice. She will need all the polish she can get. After all, Miss Minchin has set me to be her model. It is my responsibility to correct her mistakes. It is a silly game, these manners, but I do enjoy games. She curtsied then, if only slightly. I pray you will forgive me, Miss Herbert, I was too familiar. Lavinia waved her hand. You are forgiven, of course. Now, what did you wish to speak to me about? Miss Minchin said that your father was stationed in India. I was curious where you had lived, whether we might have seen the same. And now Lavinia held up her hand again. Let me guess, I'm not allowed to know? I have no interest in discussing anything whatsoever to do with India. It is not proper topic for polite conversation. What, were you part of slave orgies? What, it's not proper topic? What, did you climb inside a dead tiger? Like, how could it not be polite for proper conversation? Just to know where you fucking lived would have been enough. Sarah frowned. From the odd look on Jessie's face, she seemed to find this answer disappointing. Please misunderstand, Miss Crew. We are here in London under the shield of Her Majesty the Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Island Defender of Faith, Empress of India. Oh, I hope they didn't have to call her that in front of her. Christ. Oh, you'd need some people with a scroll just to remember saying that in person. Everything that matters in the world takes place within these miles. Trade within the city, government in parliament, and society within the palace. What an incredibly arrogant, racist view. Oh, none of those other countries matter. Oh, disgusting. India is a distant hinterland, filthy and rife with disease. It is a jungle out there. An actual racist. Good. Yes, there are jungles, but they are not any more filthy than London is. Nothing could be more filthy than London. It's arrogance, love. A proper lady expresses interest in India only to imagine the thrill of being briefly made to visit such a wild and terrible terrain. You should be very glad that you have escaped it. Thrills are exciting. Hush. Lavinia rubbed one hand over the other as if brushing away dirt. I hope I have made myself clear. We will not be discussing India here. However, I will be very pleased to aid you in learning the ways of English, Miss Crewe. I am certain that is what Miss Minchin had in mind when she directed you to me. I cannot wait never to return here again. Oh my god. We're sort of unwittingly snuck in with a racist. So that's fun. I know it's the times, but you know, still. That is very kind of you. Not at all. It is my duty, and every good English man or woman is keen to do his or her duty. Like Papa, my Papa the soldier. Yes, if you must. I still don't understand why she refuses to speak about India. Wasn't she born there? She must know how lovely it can be. Depends what her parents told her. Not going back there in a hurry. It was the beginning of another week of classes, and the students were seated neatly in rows in the schoolroom. Miss Minchin walked up and down between the desks, ensuring that each pupil's head was bowed to her particular lessons. You're not teaching it? What? Our head needs to be bowed even when you're checking and not teaching us stuff? Whatever. She paused beside Sarah, a book in hand. There's nothing even on the blackboard. She's shit, is what I'm saying. She is shit. She is not even teaching us anything. She paused beside Sarah, a book in her hand. Now, Sarah, your papa has engaged a French maid for you. I conclude that he wishes to make a special study of the French language. I think he engaged her because he thought I would like her, Miss Minchin. I don't think you're supposed to answer back. I'm afraid that you may have been something of a spoiled little girl, and as such, you always imagine that things are done because you like them. I mean, I don't feel spoiled. Whatever. It is a fault in you, and one that we must endeavour to train away. My impression, Sarah, is that your papa wished for you to learn French. I've never really learned to speak French, but that is quite enough. You have never learned, and so you must begin at once. The French master, Monsieur Dufache, will be here in a few minutes. Take this book and look at it until he arrives. Oh, man. I hope there's some of you who speak French, because good luck otherwise. Dutifully, Sarah stared at the illustrated pages in front of her. Le poulet is just a fucking chicken. Le père, le father. Le mère, la mother. You look rather cross, Sarah. I'm sorry you do not like the idea of learning French. It's not cross. I'm very fond of it, but you must not say but when you are told to do things. Oh man, what a horrible, horrible teacher. This is apparently what it was like back in dem olden days, huh? Probably not, but whatever. You know, children must be seen but not heard, that sort of outrageous manner. Miss Abbott, young ladies should not make dreadful snickering noises like a horse. Yes, Miss Minchin. Sarah, look at your book again. Yes, Miss Minchin. Le fille, le son, le frère, le brother, oh dear. Shortly after, Monsieur Defarge arrived in the classroom. The French master was an elderly gentleman with a neatly trimmed moustache and beard, and a hair that flew outwards in dramatic points. He was saying he's a crazy scientist. Like, he's Monsieur, but he's never been to France in his life. His eyes lit up when he caught sight of an unfamiliar little girl puzzling over a book of French phrases. Oh, that's not going at... Oh, come on, that's fine. His hair is not sticking out outrageously, maybe for the day he was, but... come on, he looks like he's just got off a motorbike. He doesn't look like he spent 2 weeks under some crazy underground laboratory. You know, he looks fine. Is this a new pupil for me, madame? Her papa, Captain Crewe, is very anxious that she should begin to the language, but I'm afraid she has a childish prejudice against it. She does not seem to wish to learn. Okay, she's got fucking something against me. This is ridiculous. We haven't said any of this. She's just assuming, and it gets more grandiose the more she speaks about it. I'm very sorry to hear that, mademoiselle. Perhaps we should begin to study together. I may show you that it is a charming tongue. Little Sarah rose in her seat. She was beginning to feel rather desperate. S'il vous plaît, monsieur, je n'ai pas pour lui faire comprendre. That means, yes, thank you, sir. I have a hard time understanding, I think. I think it means I have a hard time understanding. God knows, is there someone who speaks French? You can translate for me. She began to explain quite simply in pretty and fluent French. Madame had not understood. She had not learned French exactly, not out of books, but her papa and other people had spoken it to her, and she had read and written it as she had read and written English. Her papa loved it, and she loved it because he did. Her dear mamma, who had died when she was born, had been French. Okay, well, now it makes a bit more sense. What on earth? What is she saying? Is this some form of joke? Ah, madame, there is not much I can teach her. She has not learned French. She is French. Her accent is exquisite. Oh, hang on. Bong! Oh. Right, an arrow through the head. You ought to have told me. I tried. I suppose I did not begin right. Get fucked, teacher, yeah. That's what you get from the Bird. Miss Minchin slammed her hand upon her desk. Silence, young lady, silence at once. And though the other students soon settled back into proper schoolroom behaviour, Miss Minchin's lips remained tightly pressed together whenever she looked at Sarah. So what did we say? We clearly couldn't have said I don't understand. We must have said, oh, I do understand what you're saying or something. Right. What did we need? I think we needed like one belief, right? There's a good chance here that we'll get belief, right? Do any of these other things I'm doing do... No. We definitely need one, so I guess we could change that for that, and then we're pretty much like, you know, we're getting a bit of everything, and it seems to, in order to advance certain scenes with other people, we need a bit of everything. Okay, so that's just a lot of that. Belief? Fuck you. That's why we put two of them in. That's why we put two of them in. And... we put two of them in, and we got the bottom result both times. 1 in 9 chance of happening. If the French language fell naturally from Sarah's lips, there were other lips from which it seemed it could not escape at all, no matter how long the owner stared at her workbook. Le père, le father, le mère, the mother. Okay, you look reasonably sensible. I can tell by the cut of your fringe that you must not be outrageously rich, so that's a start. To Ermengarde, is that her name? Ermengarde, what a name. To Ermengarde, it had seemed almost unbelievable that a girl of her own age could string together so many words of French as if they were mere trifles. Not made from trifles, sorry, that's my hunger stomach. Sort of wishfully thinking. Dismayed at her own failings, she was devoting more effort than usual to the trial of understanding her lessons. Her elbows rested on the desk, her hands under her chin as she repeated the broken syllables under her breath. She stared so hard and bit the ribbon on her pigtail so fast that she attracted the attention of Miss Minchin, who, feeling extremely cross at the moment, immediately pounced upon her. Miss St. John! What is the meaning of such conduct? What? Remove your elbows, take your ribbon out of your mouth, sit up at once. Yes, Miss Minchin. They need to stop giggling, they're going to be shouted at every time. Matters did not improve for Miss St. John when the French master himself arrived. Good bread, le bon pain? That's not that. Isn't it le bon pain? Le bon pain? I'm pretty sure it's B-O-N-P-A-N, but I might be wrong. It's not bong pang. It's not some sort of Boris Johnson's way of fucking naming ping pong. You know what he's like. Kindly though he was, Monsieur Dufarge could not help but smile at her pronunciation. P-A-I-N, it's close enough. That is not quite correct. Écoutez bien. I think that means pronounced well. Le bon pain. Le bon pain? Not even close. Girls, conduct yourselves. I don't know why they keep giggling. They're going to get shouted at every time. It isn't funny, really. They ought not to laugh, poor thing. It was a way of hers always to want to spring into any fray in which someone was made uncomfortable or unhappy. However, there was no way for any hero to defend or rescue Ermengarde from the horrors of education. Well, I mean, I can't think her parents are much help if they name their children something like Ermengarde. Come on. That's like a character from Lord of the fucking Rings, you know. We're going to Ermengarde. That's not something you call a little girl. At least not until the lesson period had concluded. Right. We didn't fucking get through belief, did we? Woo! Fuck's sake. I really don't want to go with her again. Alright, we'll try and get belief for next week, but we'll go with Mariette instead today. Yeah, okay, let's go with Mariette.